And I believe we're live. A little bit behind. Sorry, y'all. I was opening packages. I got these really cool Tint Whiz butt cheek pens and like little Whistler and stuff things. Anyways, sorry. Welcome to the Dark Truth Podcast. I'm your host, Shady J. Let me make sure everything's working on the Facebook. I'm going to have to give me just 1 second. Let me make sure. Yep. Looks like we're good. So I'm going to have to go to this, go to that. Sorry, y'all. A little behind. It's been a boring but also hectic day. Haven't really done a whole bunch. Took me a mean ass nap just a little bit ago. Woke up around like 5:30. Tried to get this thing rolling. Let me share this a couple places real quick. Tonight I do have two awesome people on, power couple that I've known but also saw again at the Autobahn conference in Atlanta. It's been great getting to know them, talking with them at the events and all that good shit. But we have Jorge and Brenda on, owners of JR Auto Care, if I'm right. If I'm wrong, y'all just correct me. All that good. You know me. I don't prepare for this kind of stuff. Just ready to have a good time. But make sure this is running. Auto style window tint. Yeah, JR Auto style window tint. Sorry. Share this to my page. Cool. And make sure this is working. Okay, cool. Looks good on my end. Super excited to have these two on. I do have a special guest host that will be joining us probably midway, might be a little bit past midway through. Y'all know who it is, been on the show before, but when this person comes in, you understand. But without further ado, I am going to do the intro video, and then after the intro video, I will bring in our guests. So here we go. Let's get it. All right, Wednesday, March 5th, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, right here at the Dark Truth Podcast. We'll go ahead and bring our guests on if they are ready. Let me see. Thumbs is up. Okay, cool. They were also on Jason's show, which is, awesome that they got a little taste of a podcast before they got on here. This one's a little different, but it's going to be a good time. So without further ado, everybody welcome in Brenda and Jorge from JR Auto Style.
What's up, guys?
What up, dude? How are y'all?
Good. How are you?
Good. Doing good, man. Doing good. Got some chatters in here already. Sorry for the late start. I had to tie up some loose ends before the show. With the nap and all, I was kind of behind on stuff, but I appreciate y'all coming in on being on the show. Before we get started, what are your names and what do y'all do? Just a little backstory, real quick.
Well, I'm Jorge and
Brenda.
and of course we do window tint, automotive, commercial, residential, and we own JR Auto Style Window Tint in Mount Airy, North Carolina.
North Carolina. See, I couldn't remember what area y'all were in. So North Carolina, y'all get like half and half when it comes to like the crazy hot weather and also like the crazy cold, right?
Today was that day.
We get all four seasons. This morning we had a tornado warning, and it was raining sideways. And
dude, same.
It was 70 and beautiful. So you get everything here.
Man, that's how Arkansas is. We get I call it bipolar weather. It's one day it'll be like 70 and sunny and no winds blowing, birds are chirping. You wake up the next day, dude, it's like 32 and rainy, and you're like, oh, what is this? Like, this is terrible,
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. So how long have y'all been tinting? And who started tinting first? I have to know that too.
I did. I want to say officially I started tinting it's been about 7 years or so, back in 2018. That's just like officially tinting. But really I've tinted a couple vehicles before that, but it was horrible, man. I mean, I think the first car I did was an '05 Mustang. Um,
Oh,
I
those are fun to start on.
Yeah, it's not that bad actually because you have
No, not anymore. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean if you don't know what you're doing and you're using cheap like AutoZone tint, I mean it's gonna be a nightmare, you know. I remember the first truck I did was an F-150, and to do the two fronts, I think it took me like 4 hours. I mean something ridiculous, you know what I mean. Um, Brenda, she's trying to get into tinting a little bit.
That's
I
good.
think she likes flat glass a little bit more than automotive.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So Jessica actually said the same thing the other day. She goes, I would really love to do flat glass tinting, and I was like, oh yeah, you'd like to do the easy, like you'd rather do the easy stuff than learn how to shrink.
It is easy, but I feel like if you get a massive window, that'll definitely test your ability. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely does, dude. Definitely if you have a huge.
So it looks easy.
Looks easy.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, big windows. If you're by yourself, it's really hard. But if you have at least another hand, dude, like I've got I just quoted a tobacco store that's got 67 by 98 long windows, and I was like, hey, that's a really big window. So if I get the job, like, hey, Jessica, you're gonna have to like hold this side while I hold this side. We can like slowly roll it, stuff like that.
Is it 98 tall?
Yeah, luckily.
Okay.
Luckily, they're not 98 sideways, dude. I've done sideways rolls, and it's the worst, man.
Yeah.
The only way you could really do it is if Chuck Cochran had like, I don't know if you saw it, but it was like a PVC handle that you like put into the tent. You can like pull it sideways to where it doesn't fall down. And I was like, that would be something great for like huge windows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then he also did something with the he would roll it in the PVC pipe, set it down in the box, and just pull it up, and it holds the tent in the box while you just stretch the film up. I got to find that video. It's amazing because it looks like it makes it way easier. And I was like, I've never thought of that ever.
Yeah, I see a lot of people do the PVC pipe, especially like on the Model 3 back glass. I see a lot of people use a small little PVC pipe for that, and I guess it works too because it's sort of weighted, so it'll kind of fall. I don't do the PVC though. I use as far as the Model 3, I use a little pool noodle, and I'll wrap it up, and that way it holds everything, it doesn't cause it to like fold on itself and cause a crease. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah.
So do you do a lot of Model 3s or?
We've done several. I don't want to say we do a lot of them because there's some tint shops. I mean, depending on your area. I mean, Teslas are becoming a little bit more common in our area.
Right.
But it's not like LA where you get them all over the place,
Right.
But yeah, we've done several of them, and
man, I've only done I want to say 3, maybe 3, and only 2 did the full back glass because they were like, oh, well, I'm not worried about it. I just want the sides.
Yeah.
Do you price those like a normal car, like when it's just the sides, or do you do like a little bit of an upcharge? Because I've heard people do both.
If they're just doing the sides and the back, the lower portion of the back glass, I'll just tint it like a sedan. Nothing crazy.
Right.
Now if they do the full back glass, then yeah, we upcharge for that because you get
definitely
control for that. But if it's just the lower portion, I just price it like a typical car because they're frameless windows. The back glass is super easy to do if it's just the lower portion. Our plotter would cut it out where it's goes against the defroster line, so you can't really see the seam. I think they look better when they're fully done, just because you don't see the change in the gradient of the film. But yeah, it just depends. I mean, if the customer wants to do the whole back glass, a way to upsell that though is I always tell them, hey, if you want the most out of your battery, you want ceramic, and you also want to do all the back glass because it has that auto cooling feature, so it's constantly running, keeping the car cool.
I didn't even know about that. So it has like an auto cool feature on the roof.
Yep. So, well, not on the roof, but just in general. So the
okay,
aren't 100% turned off. You can have the vehicle off, and like the doors, like you could lock the switches and the door will be up and it'll be locked, but
Yeah.
the AC will constantly be running if it's a little bit warmer. So it kind of maintains it at a comfortable temperature, which obviously drains your battery. So if you
Right.
get like, for instance, like ceramic i3, you know, you're gonna be blocking 93% of the infrared. It blocks a bunch of heat coming through. It'll maintain, you get more range out of the battery. So
That makes
most of
sense.
our Tesla people that come through, they'll do minimum at least the black ceramic, if not the ceramic i3. But I don't think any of our Tesla owners have gotten the black. They always go at least ceramic.
Right. I mean, for one, they can't just like say, "Hey, I got it tinted with some dyed film." They're like, you know, they got a little more pride than that. They're like, "I own a Tesla, like I have to have ceramic
Yeah.
on it." You know,
Yeah.
if they don't, they probably tell their buddies and they're like, "Dude, you didn't even get the good stuff. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Tesla
Like,
owners are different.
what's wrong
man.
with you?"
They're different.
That's why I'm glad that we don't have a whole bunch of them. Like, there's probably 2 Cybertrucks I've seen in like anywhere close to the vicinity of our area. And one of them's got like a really sick wrap for like a cannabis shop up the fucking road. And then one's like black. So it's like one of them super stands out. It's like Paradise Cannabis or some shit on it. It's got like flowers and pretty colors and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, dude, you totally just got that as a write-off. You didn't even want it for the business.
Absolutely.
Dude, you just had to spend the money because you have so much coming in, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Gotta save on taxes somehow.
Right. So with you said you've been tinting for about 7 years. Did you start out at a shop or did you just kind of start, you know, garage work and start doing stuff on the side? Because you did mention AutoZone tint. So I have to know, like, did you start with the AutoZone, bro? Or
Yeah, I want to say I started. So I tried the hand cutting part when the very first time, and I couldn't really figure out the typical like jagged edges and stuff like that.
Right.
So I did the Amazon wasn't really that big back then, so I did an eBay. I think like the pre-cut tints and stuff. The only bad thing about that is if you mess up a pattern,
right,
screwed, you know. But yeah, it's all self-taught, man. I never worked for a shop for window tint or anything like that. Everything I've learned has just been, you know, trial and error. But
awesome.
Messed up a lot in the past, you know, but it's gotten me to where I'm at today, you know.
That's awesome, man. Because see, I started out in a shop as a prep guy, literally thinking I'm just cleaning windows. And because that was the job description was window cleaner. And I was like, shit, let me get that job. I could do that.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, like no problem, right? So I started working there. And then I started seeing what the actual process was, dude. And I was like, yo, this is kind of cool. Like now I'm starting to learn like the little stuff that this dude who's been doing it for like 20 something years.
Yeah.
Like he won't teach me, but I get to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I ended up prepping for like 3 years. I know it's a long time. I get it. Everybody gives me shit for it. They're like, dude, how'd you do it for that long? I didn't know anything about the industry at all up until this point. Like I was just working, right? I had a job. I didn't think it was like it is in the actual space of the industry.
Yeah.
And then figuring out all his little tips and tricks, the things that he would teach me, stuff like that. Like I'm sure I had like a leg up on people like you that just had to like go through all the bullshit and try to figure it out. Probably didn't really ask that many people for help, I'm sure, but you just kind of, you know, felt your way around. What do you think the benefit of that is as opposed to working in a shop?
I don't know. I feel like once you work in a shop, I would say you would actually learn the more of how to put like the professional side of it rather than just like the DIY version of it.
Right.
Like I said, I messed up a lot of windows, but what helped me out a lot in like figuring out tips and tricks was actually going to these events like Tinner Battles. Tinner Battles was the first event we went to that was Tinner related, you know.
You talking about the one in Orlando?
Yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah,
we went
that's where I met Joe.
The second year they do it, yeah.
Oh, the one in 22.
22, yep. That's
the one that I competed in and didn't finish my car.
Yes.
Damn. Why'd you have to pick that one? No, I'm just kidding.
That's when we So we didn't get to see the first one, but we did.
So we saw you then.
See, I don't think I met y'all then. I was probably fucking not paying attention or whatever. Y'all, some people when they go to their first event, they don't try to meet people, stuff like they just try to take it all in. And I'm not saying like I'm somebody you're supposed to meet at events, but I'm just saying like I don't remember meeting y'all until 20. It was at the same location. Yeah.
Yep.
Because y'all didn't go to Amelia Island, did you?
No, yeah, we did. I think
dude.
I said, exactly. I think you're right though. I feel like it's something that you start to see familiar faces and you start to kind of mingle a little bit, because even at these events, I feel like there's a lot of people that kind of stay within their group, and if you don't really know them, you might just be a newbie or whatever. But I feel like, we've been to the past 4 Tinder battles.
Yeah.
No, 3, because this year's going to be the 4th one, the 5th one.
Yep.
But we've been to the last 3. We went to WFCT. We went to the dealer conference. So we're trying to make it a habit to go to these, and we see a lot more familiar faces. And every time we go, we always meet new faces and meet new people.
Right.
But I feel like you tend to kind of see the repetitive faces, and it's like, okay, it's a little bit easier to how would you put it?
To approach you.
Exactly, to approach people, because I'm shy, man. She's great at networking.
I'm shy right now.
We're just people, bro. Like, it's just people, man. We just, okay, so I will tell you this. I was the same way in 21 for the first ever Tinder battles, because, like, I had long hair and nobody really knew me, and I knew, like, Jason and David Carley and, like, Carlos and everything. I watched all the, like, the build up to it, and I was always in the groups talking and stuff like that. So like when you build yourself in the social media space and then you go to the events, people will be like, hey, I remember you. I've seen your name. I've seen your face, blah, 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 whatever. And so like being the newer person to groups or to events or whatever is pretty cool, because like not everybody knows exactly everybody until you hang out. Like until you have that sit down and you have a couple drinks with them, or you like grab some food, or you watch somebody compete, ask you questions, stuff like that. It's like an unknown space, right?
Right.
And it is very intimidating. I was super intimidated, and like I would just kind of walk up to people and be like, hey, I see you on Facebook. Nice to meet you. Like, I don't know what to say right now, but I like your stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you do good work. So going to these events, what is the biggest takeaway for y'all when y'all get back from the events? Like, not what happens there, but whenever you come home. Like, say last week when we got back from Atlanta, like, what was the biggest takeaway that you did at the shop from coming from the conference?
Posting more, and definitely just being more engaged with social media, and just staying hungry and motivated. And that's one thing I definitely notice every time we come back from an event. And then it's like we need to go to another one to bring that
like that fire.
Yeah, dude. It's like you have to recharge your battery, is what somebody said one time. And I was like, that makes so much sense. Because like the whole year goes on and like you don't see everybody, and you're doing your work, and you're seeing you see everybody on social media posting things. Maybe you're not doing as much as them, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't really give a shit. I don't give a shit about that stuff. But like, as time goes on, you're like, man, I can't wait to go and get some knowledge and then come back and just fucking crush it. Right. So whenever y'all got back, did y'all have like a whole bunch of people waiting on y'all to get some stuff done? Or like, was it just kind of, for me, it was dead. So like, I got to hear this.
I feel like it's definitely still, we're creeping out of the slow season. But with us, I feel like where we took 3 days out of the work week off, it was easier to stack people the last 2 to 3 days. So like, we came back that Wednesday. Thursday was wide open, Friday and Saturday, try to make up for lost time, I guess, through the week. But I mean, tax season's right around the corner. We've been staying steady. And it's right around that time where it's just about to like go crazy.
Oh yeah.
Go off the hook. Everybody's wanting, like, especially tax season, you have the people that don't typically buy stuff like that or do the large purchase items, you know what I mean, will come and spend that because they say, hey, when I got the tax money, I have the money available to do that. And then it creeps into warmer season, and then you have your typical people that are buying cars and stuff like that that always get their windows tinted and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I think tax season is kind of like the kickoff to the busy season. But yeah,
people get rich around that time.
Hey, okay, I'll say this though. This is my last year to get a tax refund because now I'm doing my own thing. Look, I just got it. I just got it while we were in Atlanta, and I was like, I want to spend all of it, but I was like, I gotta pay film orders, I gotta pay bills, I got insurance due, I got fucking, I got net 30s I need to pay off, gotta get stuff for the kids, groceries, all that shit, man. And so tax season, definitely when it hits, like you get more of the quote unquote low end customers because they're not able to afford it. It's a luxury item. It's not necessarily something you need. But people are like, man, I've been needing my shit tinted for forever. So like I might as well go spend however much. Like my base film's $250 plus $50 for an eyebrow, right? So it's like I can go spend that $250 and then get my shit tinted, and then I get a fucking post on Facebook about how I spent this with my tax money, and I'm so excited that I did it because now my car is blah blah blah. People can't see me. It's like that value that people have, that it's like a scarcity, right? Like they don't normally get to spend that much at one time on stuff, and if they do, they want to spend it with people and on things that are really beneficial for them. So they want to look for something like Tint or PPF or ceramic coating or whatever it might be, right? New tires. I got to get new tires still, like that kind of thing,
It's your larger ticket items that isn't a daily norm. It's not like out to eat or like because a lot of people, even at that, like you can still afford typically to go out to eat, every once in a while. It's a fancy dinner or whatever, but it's more so, okay, I just dropped $1,000 on tires, like you said, for my car, or I just dropped $200, $400, $500, $600 on tint on my car, or whatever it is. But I can't tell you how many phone calls we've gotten, and people like, okay, yeah, I just filed my taxes, but as soon as I get them, I just want to know how much it is, so that way I can go ahead and book an appointment. So it's like I said, you have the money there. A lot of people spend the money before they even get it.
Dude. It's like counting your chickens before they hatch, like you're like, okay, cool. Because I did that. I was like, yo, I'm going to pay for this, and this with my tax return. You know what happened? That and that's still sitting, waiting to get paid off. You know what I mean? Like, it's still sitting, dude. Like I had to, while we were in Atlanta, my transmission was getting rebuilt. And then when we got back, it was finished, but I had it financed because I can like kind of build my credit on that or whatever. So instead of me paying it off when I got back, I was like, I'm just going to pay it out a little bit. And then when like the 90 days is almost up, pay it off. You know what I mean? It's just, for me, at least, I'm very inconsistent when it comes to planning out how my money's supposed to go. So like, especially right now, trying to figure out, taxes, sales tax, accountant stuff, all that kind of stuff or whatever. And I don't know, you've been dealing with that with your business. And that's one thing that I didn't know shit about. So I'm going to have to get me an accountant and be like, here, do all the stuff and just tell me what I have to do,
Yeah, Uncle Sam will definitely be knocking at your door if you don't do it right, man. I feel like the first year we did our taxes, we were very confused. This is our first ever like self-employed business that we've ever done. It's not like we have other stuff. They're like, okay, we know we need to do this, and this, and even down to today, like we're still learning different things. But like I said,
what things you can add to it,
as
a write-off.
Hopefully we could add a Cybertruck this year.
Something, dude. Get a Denali or some shit, man. Just wrap it. You know what I mean?
Buy another house with it. It's a write-off. Nice.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely confusing. But yeah, I would definitely suggest getting the right people to handle your stuff, man. Because if you try to do it yourself and you don't know what you're doing, you're really gonna screw yourself over in the end. You're gonna, shit, why didn't I just pay somebody to do it? Yep.
Because honestly, even right now, like I'm using QuickBooks and I still don't get it. And we're almost fucking at the quarterly to where I have to pay my taxes and shit, like my sales tax. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I haven't been doing it right. So I'm just going to have to get like whatever they tell me to pay, and I'm like, cool, I'll pay it when I can. Like
Yeah.
my
I mean,
bad.
QuickBooks helps. I felt we use QuickBooks, but if anything, we really use it to kind of help monitor like the set, like not the sales,
Like
but
itemize.
like receipts and stuff like that. Like that's
Right.
one thing she would, because she's the one that handles it for us. You know what I mean? She'll do a lot of like
Hell yeah,
figuring out
dog.
expenses, and I'm just like,
See?
Oh my god! But
Here's a
sometimes
year's
I
worth
need a
of
break, and then I'm
receipts.
like, "Can you take over?" He's like, "That's you, babe.
That's
It's
you.
all you."
That's
And
all
I'm like,
her.
"Oh,
It reminds me of those commercials where it's like when you need a backup in real life. Have you seen those commercials where like, oh man, it's like, okay, so it's backup quarterbacks, and it's like an insurance or something, and it's their this girl's like working on their taxes, right? And she's like getting frustrated. It's like, Jacoby Brissett, get in there, like, from the Colts back in the day, he was a backup for forever.
Yep.
He's like, they're like, get in there and fix it. And he's like, you did a good job. Let me take it over. And he's over here like doing their taxes. He's like, when you need a backup in real life,
yeah."
it's
It'd be
funny.
nice. I could use a backup, man. Even with Windows 10, I feel like you get burnt out, man. I mean, it's with everything. I feel like it's, and these trips, like I said, these events actually kind of help out because it's a work vacation. A lot of times, I mean, a lot of these events are fun, man. I mean, you go to them and they make them very, very fun. They're knowledgeable. But I feel like you make the most out of your time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
by far, Amelia Islands, I will say, it was up there, man. Talk about being like pampered, pretty much, with the damn spa and everything.
That one was so much fun, man. The Zen room, I had to go in there at one point. For some reason, I had like super overwhelming anxiety, and I was like, I have to go lay down in this quiet fucking room for a little bit and just like close my eyes. I mean, it was just so loud and so much going on. It was like a huge performance, man. And like, I don't know what it was, but I was like, I got to go sit down. And me and Jessica sat in there on the beanbags, like, for like 30 minutes. And then I was like, cool.
We were going to bring one
of those. I didn't do that part, but.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, that was so much fun. The
Yeah.
Oculus. I knocked out. Like, I went in there and I was like, wow.
Did it have like the Zen thing on it?
Yes. And then he was looking for me. He couldn't find me. And meanwhile, I'm like knocked out in the other room.
He walks in, you're just like.
Yeah, with the Oculus.
I went in there once and I got a massage. And unfortunately, the dude that gave me my massage, man, like I suffer a lot from like cramps in like my thighs and my calves. And the dude was just digging in there, and it was so uncomfortable. It didn't feel good. Like it was just like, all right. I mean, I guess I don't do massages. I'm super ticklish. I don't
me
do
too.
that stuff. I feel like I should, because I beat my body to death. But yeah, the dude was just like digging his knuckles, and then I was like, is this what it's supposed to feel like? I was like,
I was right next to him.
Hurts.
That was good.
Dude. Yeah, I got a massage too, man, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm the same way. Like, I just have like that thing with like touching, and I'm like, this is already weird. And then dude's like, I'm like, fuck. Like, what are you doing to my neck, bro?
Yep.
And he's like, oh, dude, you're all naughty. And I'm like, oh, calm down, bro. I'm like, calm down. Like, get out of here. So Amelia Island, fuck, dude, I don't even remember seeing y'all there. That's crazy. There's a whole bunch of people at that one, man. We had the kids with us. Man. My grandmother came, dude. She actually got to see like everything that the industry's about. Like, she enjoyed the shit out of it. Like, seeing me go up there and compete and all that stuff and all that or whatever, because I always talk to her about it. But when it comes to these events, you compete now a lot, don't you? Like when you go to like the conferences and stuff like that?
Yeah, so the first time I competed was at Tint Battles last year. Because I like to get a feel for it, to kind of see, like, for one, obviously not really scope out the competition, but it's more so to see what to bring, what to do, the do's and don'ts, how to do it, because obviously everybody's outside their comfort zone. You're doing outside your shop, so it's
for sure.
But last year they just had the shrink battles
right
at Tint Battles. I lost to Avery.
Oh man, at least you lost to him, bro.
Like, I know. At least I lost to the winner. You know what I mean? But he did have the what's it called? That heat gun.
The Steino.
He had the Steino, yeah, and I
That
had my
was
wax.
that was my partner in Amelia Island's Steino too, Eric Moore.
Yeah.
He let him borrow it. He let
Yeah.
him and Nacho borrow it the whole competition until they had to go against each other, which was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get me one of those, honestly, because that's an upper hand, man. Like it's a close thing to torching without a torch, you know.
Right.
But yeah, unfortunately, I lost to him. But that
Was
kind
it
of like
close?
got my feet wet. Yeah, I want to say it was, because I already had I started on the passenger side. I had the top and the bottom done. I had the driver's bottom side done, and I was just doing the driver's top side.
Yeah.
Whenever they called it, and I was like, damn, I was right there, man. But
but he also shrunk like 3/4 of the windshield just reaching.
So damn
you
long,
know what I
man.
mean? His fucking 8-foot long ass arms, dude.
Yep.
That fucking guy, man.
Avery's a cool guy, man. I all props to him. He ended up winning the whole thing, so I was like, at least I lost to the winner. You know what I mean? That made me feel a little bit better. But yeah, and then I ended up competing at WFCT last year. That one, I definitely feel proud of what I did. I just feel like it was that one I didn't get to scope out it. That was the first time at WFCT ever, and I also competed, so I didn't know what to expect. And out of all these conventions, I feel like WFCT is the strictest when it comes to like rules and regulations. Dude, it's very old school with it.
I call it suit and tie event, bro. I hate it. I hate it so much.
But I don't mind it, because I feel like if you can compete well at that, you can easily do all the other events, you know.
For sure.
But we were I was in the first heat of the tint part, and the only thing, I don't know why they did this, and I want to compete this year, but hopefully they do it different. When we had our did you go to WFCT or no?
Man, I've only been to the one that was in San Antonio in 22, and I did not like it. It was too, like I was saying, it's too suit and tie for me, man. You know me, dude. I'm walking around with beers and I'm fucking cutting up and I'm talking shit, smoking cigarettes. Like I'm just, I like the backyard barbecue aspect of like going to events instead of like, oh yeah, let's go out and make $1 million. Like I'm not a fan of that. Like I'm just not I don't know. I'm just not as professional as I think I should be, or whatever. But
I mean, you'd be surprised though, man. Like there's, like for me, I'm the same with you. I like the laid back vibes.
Yes.
But obviously, owning a business, like you also strive to be greater and build. You know what I mean? So like being a part of that, I feel like it kind of helped, because you're in a room with people that do like, you know, 7 figures. You know.
Right.
But I mean, going back to the competition, we were part of the first heat, and whenever we had the meeting to, as far as like rules and regulations before the event started, the day before, they didn't tell us the vehicle we were doing, nor which windows we were going to be doing, which is fine. But after the first heat, the cat's out the bag. You know what I mean? So I don't know why they just hid that from us, but so unfortunately, I got the first heat. And
did you choose the first heat, or they?
No, they it's random. They'll say
they literally just kind of like, they probably put it on a fucking spinning wheel, you know, like we do for giveaways and shit.
Yeah.
Or like pull hats out of or names out of a hat or whatever.
It's all automated. It's just random. But I was part of the first heat, and I was in the back portion of the competition where the guy. I mean, I guess. Once you walk into the exhibition floor, I was like one of the last cars. They had like they didn't even have a PA system. They were just like yelling, "Okay, go ahead and start," and we get 20 minutes. But we didn't know which windows we were doing. They still didn't tell us which windows we were doing. And the guy started, and then everybody's like, "Which window are we doing?" And he stated it, but we're in the further end, and there's no PA system, no microphone, so we didn't know what. I think I looked at the clock, and it was about 3 minutes down. And they finally told like the proctors, like at the back end, what we were doing. So I didn't know which windows to prep, if we're doing a back glass, if we're doing a quarter window, a roll up, like
man.
So I lost.
Was there not? There wasn't a competitors meeting.
Yeah, there was, but
they didn't go over any of that shit. Dude,
they
what the
decided to
fuck?
keep it a secret before the event. So, but
That's so
like I
dumb.
said, after the first competition, the first heat, the cat's off the bag. You know the vehicles, and you also
Right.
know which windows you're doing. So I don't know
Right.
why you would hold that. It's literally it's a disadvantage just for the people in the first heat. That's it. Everybody else knows after that. You're doing the same thing for there are 6 heats, and all 6 heats are the exact same thing on the same cars. So you know what to expect going into it. So if you're, I guess it's an advantage and disadvantage because people
Right.
where like the last heat say it's a disadvantage because
Dude,
you're dealing with like
hate going last.
well, they say that, oh, well, the windows might have glue on it, or there might be a scratch on the window already that somebody else caused. But they give you 5 minutes to inspect the windows, and
Dude, that is not enough time to make sure. In my opinion, listen, that's not enough time, in my opinion, to actually look over the whole entirety of a vehicle, just to make sure there's not one defect somewhere that could fuck you, right?
True.
Like, I was the very last heat in Atlanta, and I hated it because I had to wait until like 8 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? Like,
Dude,
no offense to the organization of things, no offense to how it's organized, but things just run behind, right? And I'm sitting there like fucking 17 beers deep, like, well, am I supposed to tint a window? You know, like, and then everybody's getting rushed out while I'm competing, and I'm like, fuck, man, well, there goes all my. Like, I perform better when there's people watching, in my opinion, because like I played sports, you know, like I like a crowd, whatever. It makes me a little more comfortable because I get distracted. But if I'm like just sitting there and nobody's in there and it's quiet, dude, I will lose my fucking mind. And like, there was nothing wrong with any of my windows, but they gave us like a minute or two just to look over the windows. And I'm like, hey, can y'all give us like a little bit of time? Like, I can't see anything right now. Like,
especially after the last heat. I mean, you guys literally, there were 6 heats, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, after that, that's you've had 6 guys work on that vehicle. You know what I mean? So it's especially the back glass. I mean, it could be anything, man. It could be a cut on the back glass. It could be glue left on it. You know, I mean, that's a lot, and it's hard to see. You know, for just a minute. I agree on you on that.
Okay, so I would much rather go first just because like my nerves work themselves up over time. So like even if I'm super nervous in the beginning, like I'd rather go first and then it doesn't build up and up and up until the actual time I go. Because I'll be sitting there. It's like doing an appointment at 4 o'clock in the afternoon instead of 8 o'clock. Like I'd much rather do it at 8 instead of wait around to do something at 4. Because then I'm like, fuck, now I gotta get figure out shit to do and be busy and stuff like that. And then it's time to work and I'm like, fuck, I don't even want to do anything now. You know what I mean? Like,
especially after a couple beers.
Yeah, dude, it's like, hey, how about you come back tomorrow at 8, you know?
Dude, I love that you had two modelos on the top of the car.
Okay, so I did that because Randy's ass had like fucking 10. And I was like, again, he was running around and I was like, hey, Randy, I'm gonna go get me some beers too, bro. Like, just give him shit. But also, that's how I like to enjoy those competitions like that. Like, it's not super serious to me because I know that there's a whole bunch of better people than me out there, right? And then, like, at least if I'm gonna have fun and I do good, that's even better. Instead of stressing out, not having fun, and then doing shitty. You know what I mean? Like, I'd much rather enjoy the time and have fun doing it while I'm competing and being nervous than just being nervous and not having fun. You know what I mean?
That's literally how WFCT was. So like the night before, like I said, not knowing the vehicle nor which window, I literally, all I know is that we had 20 minutes start to finish. You had to have everything prepped, finished, cleaned, everything dried, and then your table covered. No tools. The only thing you were allowed to leave out was your heat gun for like fire, safety. But I mean, I feel like it's the same thing. Like the night before, I was like, I'm getting my bag set up in the order of the tools I need to take out. I don't know what I'm doing. But I even told her, I was like, at the end of the day, like, I didn't go in there with the hopes of winning first place or anything. I just wanted to do the best I could. Like, I even tell my customers, like, at the end of the day, nobody's perfect. I'm nowhere near perfect. I'll do a pretty damn good job on a tint job, but there might be a speck of dust or a hair or something like that I didn't catch when I left out. And I'll gladly take care of that whenever you come back and you point it to me. I was like, hey, no problem. I'm not gonna make an excuse about it. I'll knock it out and I'll take care of it. But I even told her, I was like, at the event, I'm competing against myself. I'm big on staying in your lane. Don't worry about whoever you're competing against, and that's more so in life. Like I feel like it's kind of hard to do that whenever you own a business and you see these guys that have been in business for so many years. It's kind of hard to not want to be at the level they're at, you know what I mean, or do the sales that they're at and this and that, you know, because obviously I want the business to grow and grow and grow and grow and be as big as possible and produce you know, wealth for my family and leave something for them, you know. But at the end of the day, I can only do so much as a human being. I'm not perfect. I feel like as long as I am and as truthful and honest and real as I can be, and I did the best I can, then what more else can I do, you know?
I agree completely.
So I feel like if you have that mindset, you go into a competition, yeah, it's nerve-wracking the first little bit, but I feel like it was my first time competing there, and it was a little bit more of a bigger competition, like 10 rattles. Yeah. The nerves after a couple minutes kind of just left, and I was just in my zone, just doing my own thing, and I finished. There's a lot of guys that didn't finish, but I ended up finishing.
That's what's up.
And I had a pretty decent score, but man, they went from like 120 competitors, I think, down to 10.
Yeah, dude, that's the other thing too, is like the jump with WSCT is like they don't make it very friendly. They're like, yo, dude, you got to do good and get in the top 10 or you're not fucking going to the finals. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks. Appreciate that. Because I think in the past they did multiple rounds and then they would do like cumulative scores and shit. But then they were like, this is the best way to do it. Kind of like how Autobahn did theirs this year, where it's like one round, you get judged on it, and this is all you get, man. You get one fucking shot, you know? And for it being a back glass and a roll up, sorry.
I just think it's better like that. Is the timing. You know how long you'll be after round after round. It's just like, just call it for what it is.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's hit or miss. I feel like for an attendee, it's cool like that. As a competitor, it's kind of hard because it's just, man,
like, as a competitor, you want to do like 6 fucking rounds, man. Like 2 windows each, 3 windows, 4, whole car. Yeah, you're sitting here like, I don't want to watch all that.
I walked around and I was just like, okay, who do I talk to now?
But I feel like at the end of the day, like I said, it's like there's a lot of guys that I saw that were like heavy hitters. Like, okay, this guy is gonna be at least top 3.
I beat a few.
And do what?
I said I beat a few. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of guys that are like, okay, this guy's got to be at least top 3 or top 5 or whatever.
Right.
And for some reason, that one window, they had that one hair and it screwed them up.
Yeah, they just tanked.
And it's just like, damn. So it's which is good, I guess, for the underdogs. You know what I mean? Right. Your shit might be perfect. It's like, dude, everything was how it needed to be. You know?
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of hit or miss, honestly. But I can understand as far as spectator, because there's a lot of people that compete nowadays. And if you did multiple rounds, I mean, it'd be several hours, and it always runs behind. It's never on time. It always runs behind. Yeah. That
was the other thing. That was the only thing about the conference that I was kind of disappointed in. I mean, I understood what was going on because it happens every fucking time. But like just the little bit, 30 minutes you get behind, dude, turns into 3 hours or 2 hours. You know what I mean? And they, you know, with the judging and everybody having to get out of the room and stuff like that, moving stuff around. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of inner workings that go on that we as the competitors and people that are attending don't know. And that we can't help control it. They can't really control it because, you know, things happen, right? It's like if you get behind on your first car in the day, right? Like you're starting a vehicle, you mess up 1 quarter window or something, dude, you're fucking 2 hours behind the rest of the day. And you're like, where did that happen? You know, you're like, dude, I messed up 1 quarter window. And then I had to redo the back glass because I ripped it or something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
have you ever had
crazy shit happen?
Especially the first one of the day, and the car has tint on it.
Oop, do what? Sorry.
Have you ever had your first customer come in and the vehicle has tint on it?
Oh yeah, dude. It happened way many times.
Hey, there she is.
Where do I sit her?
You can look right there, or just look right there, either one. Anyways, everybody, my special guest host, my wife, she is 10 minutes until the end of the show, but She has been running errands and doing
So
stuff.
good.
Listen. Oh God, it's so weird. I'm opposite.
Yeah, it has to be.
Man.
Yes,
We'll just go that way.
You want to swap? I'll let you swap if you
Yeah,
want.
let's swap, please.
You want that?
This is bothering me.
Oh,
This
it's
is
a
my good
button.
side.
Yeah, it's butt cheeks.
Yay! Oh my gosh, I thought it was a magnet. That's so cute. I love it.
Anywho, everybody,
Sorry, my
welcome
bad.
my
Yeah.
wife, Miss Lady Shady.
My wife.
Hi.
Just go over this way somewhere. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Anyways, we were just talking about competition and how boring it is for the people watching, stuff like that.
Well, yeah, if you don't understand what's going on, it's definitely gonna.
Okay, so from the wife's perspective, since we have both of you here now, what is y'all's favorite thing about the events, or even just the tent industry or tent business in general? Like, what is y'all's favorite thing about it?
Support.
The support and just coaching hubby.
man.
I'm the coach. Just you got this. And,
Yeah, I love the support and
Yeah.
how everyone just comes together. And yeah,
and it's definitely like family based sometimes. Like I can bring the kids to the events and
yes.
Okay, so with the kids coming, we've had the kids at a couple events. What is the funnest thing about them going, but also the most annoying? And I'm sure we have.
Oh my God. This was the first time we ever brought them to the events, and it was a handful.
How old
But
are
it was
y'all?
Huh?
How old are y'all's?
So my son is 4 and my daughter's 14.
Okay.
4 and 14. That's a big jump
Big
right
gap.
there.
It is.
Oh man, with Naya and Paxton, when they get along, but when they have their days, oh my Lord. I'm just glad that everybody what was it, tenor battles, both tenor battles, 2 years in a row.
Yeah, Amelia Island, then Woods Castle.
They didn't show out. They were great.
Except for the GoPro videos that I found that my daughter recorded of my son being an absolute menace for some reason. And I was like, all right, I'm going to delete all these videos because I'm going to get mad.
It didn't happen.
Everyone I watch, I'm like, I can't even see it, You thought y'all were so good the whole time, but look at this footage I found. Here's the evidence.
My son actually really, really loved it. Like with all the games that there was there.
Mm-hmm.
And once he saw like the walls moving because of the projectors.
Yeah.
He loves being the center of attention. So he didn't mind it. He loved it. And everybody's touching his curls. So, he's all about it. My daughter definitely inspired her to start tinting because she's 14. So she told me this year, she's like, hey, I want to start working. So then I told her, I was like, well, why don't you learn from your dad? Like, might as well. And she was not about it until we went to the event. And now she heard it from other tinners. And I don't know why she has to hear it from other people, but that's my girl.
Okay, so that's the beauty behind it, right?
Huh?
That's the beauty behind it, though, is like all of the people in the industry that are like, hey, your dad's a badass. Like, you should do the same thing. Like, you could make a lot of money and do some good, with people,
it's
right?
Like Paxton yesterday.
Yeah.
Me and him were sitting in this little, I guess it was like a little lunch area in the hospital. Paxton was on the phone with Jordan, and he's sitting there just eating. He's like, I want to tent one day.
Just randomly.
Yeah, just randomly. And I was like, dude, heck yeah. Like, that would be awesome.
How old is he?
7.
7. Oh, he's right there, man.
And then our daughter, she's 10, and she, I made a
going
deal
on 14.
Yeah, I made a deal with her. Yeah, she's like, oh man, she's a handful. But I tell her, I'm like, hey, if I have a vehicle here and you want to work on it with me and you prep it and stuff like that, I'll give you $10. Like every vehicle, I'll give you $10, right? And then like some Saturday, she'll be like, hey, Dad, you working? I'm like, yep. She's like, how many you got?
She wants money for Robux.
She's like, how many you got? And I'm like, I got.
Wow.
I'm like, dude, all right, dude, our kids are all about Minecraft, Robux, fucking YouTube videos.
Yeah.
It's never anything super serious. It's always just bullshit, And I'm sure we were the same way growing up watching stupid fucking videos, but I think we did a little more back then. I think we did more
we went
than
outside.
they did. Yeah, dude, we
We were
used to get muddy.
outside.
We used to ride bikes and fucking fight, you know?
My
Like-
parents had to yell at me to get inside, and I had to yell at my kids. Well, not really. Our kids are pretty good as far as like,
Outside.
going out.
Yeah, right. Like, get off the tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'll just be like,
definitely,
hey,
so,
like, give me that.
Go outside, get some fresh air, something.
Right.
mhm.
Peace.
But I like taking them to the event though, because they kind of see. I think it's one thing going to like, oh, we're going to the shop. It's some normal stuff, this and that. I'm just with mom and dad, and it's like another thing to kind of see like, okay, these are other like-minded people, you know, and doing the same thing, and they hear different stories of what people have accomplished. Like I said, going back to our daughter, like for her, it was just like, okay, this wouldn't be bad to do. Like she's getting ready to go to high school, and everybody was like, dude, everybody's getting ready to get their permit, tint their cars. You know what I mean? Like
Straight up.
You know, so I'm just
Y'all
like,
need to Y'all need to make her little business cards that say like
Magnets.
like fucking like 15% off high school or whatever, you know, something that like has to do with like a high school discount
If you
or
have
whatever.
like an ID,
Like
show your
new-
high school ID.
new driver discount or something for tint, you know what I mean? But at the bottom it just says like legal tint only, you know? Like just
definitely. Yeah, I'm not
just to mess with them.
murdered out for a new
Definitely not
driver.
good. So I have to ask, from the past conference, we talked about the couple tender battles y'all have been to and stuff like that, but the last conference in Atlanta last week, was it last week or week before? I think it was last week.
It was
right?
last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get so lost on time.
My schedule's messed up.
What was y'all's favorite thing from the event, and what would be something that y'all could maybe suggest that they do a little bit better for the next one?
The dealer conference, or which
Yeah, Autobahn dealer conference. So this was our first year at the dealer conference, so I can't really go based off of like I feel like Tinder battles, we've seen multiple ones, and like some of them had a lot and some of them had a little bit more structure as they go. But as far as like I said, we've done Tinder battles, WFCT, and now the dealer conference for Autobahn. Taking a little bit from all the other places, I think as far as I mean, for one, they did an amazing job. Like hands to Kratz and the whole team. They did a great job.
The venue was
Facts. I love the venue.
Awesome.
It was awesome. I feel like I don't know, maybe we're spoiled with other events where they have a little bit more for attendees, maybe. Because I do feel like if it wasn't if it didn't have to do with a speech going on, like a speaker, and it wasn't like if you're just outside hanging out or networking or like doing, because they did have some activities outside like chess and like the cornhole and stuff like that. If it wasn't any of that or the speeches, there wasn't anything else going on other than the competition. And if you already competed or if you didn't care for it or whatever, then I just feel like it was like you didn't know what else to do.
Okay, so that means that you missed out on all the seminars that they had and like the extra rooms they had, because I did too. I didn't see Tony's room towards the kitchen until the end.
I didn't see until the end.
On the hallway.
Yeah. I didn't know about that. If there would have been, and I'm not talking shit, but if there would have been like a sign that said like PPF demos or something that just pointed towards that way, left before you get to the kitchen, you know, something like that.
I had no idea about their other rooms until I think the last day.
Right. And then the other conference room was behind the competition area. Right.
I didn't know that he was even part of it until after, while you were competing, and I walked in there and it was empty already. But yeah, same thing. I didn't, for me, I thought the seminars were on the stage, the main stage on the other side of the competitions. I didn't know much about those, the other seminars,
the little classes and stuff that were going on.
Yeah.
Fransco did a couple for like SEO and marketing and stuff like that I missed out on, that I was going to attend, but I didn't even know where it was. But also I didn't inquire about it because I was fucking walking around doing shit, talking to people, all that good stuff.
Which I talked to Tony. He was telling me that he had to like do the same speech like 10 times over or whatever. And it was like probably 50 minutes each or whatever. But like I said, for me, I thought he was gonna do something on the main stage, you know. I didn't
That's
see
where I
that
was
room.
at most of the time.
Yeah, we were just there the competition, because in the main room where they had the PPF competition going on, they had the was it Big Boy or something like that?
Yeah, the vacuum people.
Yeah, the detailing
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
and then they had the PPF going on, and then they had like the canvas, which I thought that canvas was pretty sick.
That was nice.
Yeah. That's gonna be in Krat's office apparently.
Yeah, that thing was sick. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
The like
yeah.
brick wall
Yeah.
graffiti thing that they did. I love how Jeremy wrote Scrappy so fucking huge on it, like a
Okay,
cross.
so that was so when we got there, that was already on there. I didn't know if that was part of it or not, and I was telling her, I was like, I think
dog,
somebody
that's
like
Jeremy.
did that.
That's Jeremy all day, dude.
No wonder, man.
Yeah, because Jeremy's nickname is Scrappy, but also Fireball because he catches his fucking motorcycles on fire. But he wrote it all the way across it, and I walked in, and I was like, hell yeah.
It was huge. It was huge, and I was like, I didn't even know that was Jeremy until now. And we didn't. I didn't really. I knew Jeremy. I always recognized him because he always wears the big ass hats.
Yep.
And
he's super fucking short.
Yeah.
Always on the go all the time.
Yeah.
Right around everywhere. Brought a fucking scooter and shit. Like, excuse me.
It was funny.
Like,
She was over here comparing her conversations with her friends with Tinners. And she's like, I thought it would be more professional, but I guess I feel like I'm talking to my friends. And I'm like,
right.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing about getting together at these events is like we can all just be ourselves and nobody fucking judges you. And like we just we learn from each other and figure things out. Not even just about tinting, but like about life too. Like,
absolutely.
Like those long, deep conversations in the middle of the night when you're drinking with your friends on the deck and smoking cigarettes, whatever, stogies, whatever. You're just sitting there and you're like, man, it was such a good time earlier whenever this happened, like, oh man, that's so funny.
Yeah, like we who was it? It was me, Jordan, couple more other people out on the terrace. We were just sitting there jaw jacking, and I said, it still feels like we're in Arkansas.
Yep.
Because of the company and the environment, and we don't have to like hide who we are and like pretend that we're something that we're not. We can just be ourselves because everyone, I consider everybody family. They're just everyone in the industry is awesome.
I feel like everybody gets super vulnerable at these events. They're like, I'm going to open up a lot more and just see how far I can be myself until people are like, all right, dude, you need to chill out. Like, all right, calm down. I mean, shit, look at Randy, for example. Like, he just gets shit-faced the whole day, and he's just walking around making jokes and being funny, dude. And he don't give a fuck. And he's also, like, super happy with the way he does his business, And people, it cracks me up when he's just walking around yelling. And I'm like, God damn, is that Randy? Like, it's all the way across the room. And I'm like, that's got to be Randy. And he's walking out like 4 Modelos like this, like, huh? What's going on?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think my daughter thinks it was going to be where it's a work event. She was thinking it was going to be a little bit more uptight and stuff like that. And then she was like, oh, they're just like you, Dad. Like, you know what I mean? I'm
just kicking it.
Y'all are all the same. Y'all are different in your own ways, but y'all have, I don't know, like the same mindsets and just.
We shared the same passion.
Hats and hoodies.
That's what she was saying. So like she was just like, you guys are all the same. You guys all wear hats. You guys like it's just like
hats and hoodies, baby. Hats and hoodies. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Because she was, I forgot who it was that who said like some window tinters make a bad rap for us or whatever, and it's just like until people figure out like how much we charge or how much money you can make, you're like, oh shit, you know what I mean? But it's kind of like the mindset of the plumber who comes and his ash crack isn't out, then he's not a plumber, So it's the same mindset. Like if my tinter doesn't have like a hoodie and hat and just tatted up or whatever it is, just laid back.
Or if he doesn't have a felony
if he's not a felon, if he's ain't got rap sheet,
if he doesn't drink, dude, he's sus as fuck, like, hey man, that tinter doesn't drink, I don't like him, like, something's weird about that guy.
Yeah.
It's funny. So
no, you have the conversation. Haas is cool, man. He's
Haas
in North
is so
Carolina
funny.
too.
Bro, he's one of my favorite people in the world, man.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
He actually gave us some good like tips and trick at the event. That's why I love going to these events, man. I always go with like, okay, this is what I'm battling or this is what I'm dealing with, and like I said, you have guys that have been in it for several years, way longer than us, and they're like, all right, try this, try that, or this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
There's no gatekeeping at these events. I mean, you're not talking about,
They're so down to earth, man. Like that's one thing I love about everybody there. Super down to earth, very just open to have a conversation with you and your kids. I mean, I didn't think that they were gonna talk to her like that, but I mean, they definitely opened up to her. They were like, "Hey, you can make X amount of money, and you know, you'll be good."
Yeah, tell your dad you need to make $50 an hour. You know, like shit like that. And it's like, nah, dude,
like,
chill out, man. 15, calm down.
We're gonna start minimum wage, and she was like, no, my dad owns the shop. I'm like, that doesn't. You're not entitled, like.
Cool, I'll 1099 you then. You can pay your own taxes. You know,
yeah,
like,
exactly, yeah.
Here, fill this out for me. You know, like, I'll send you a check.
So when your daughter gets to 14, you already know what to expect.
Yeah. Well, she's going on 14, 10 on 14, like you said.
Yeah.
Some cried in the first night at the bar.
What Ryan said right here. It's also to bring the kids to these things. The Tint fam is like having a bunch of aunts and uncles.
Yep.
Like,
literally, yeah. Like I said,
speaking of that, I don't know if y'all remember this, but the Tinder battles at Wiz Castle, our son the last night fell down and busted his chin open.
Like, he made it the entire week.
The whole week was great.
Getting hurt.
He slipped and fell on that sharp ass fucking floor, hit his chin.
I mean, busted it open.
Was bleeding so bad. And like somebody ran up to me, was like, "Shady, your son's bleeding." And I'm like, "What?" And I like ran over there, and there's like 10 of the Tinners like circling him, like, "Dude,
like
you're
consoling
okay.
Him, like,
you're fine. Not a big deal." And like when I showed up, he was crying. I was like, "Dude, look at all these people trying to help you, dude. You're fine."
Cadeau went over there.
Yeah, and Cadeau especially, because he's like a super fucking empathetic person. He's like, "Buddy, you're okay." He's like, "You're okay, I promise." He's like, "Yeah, but it hurts." And he's like, "It's okay though. It's just bleeding a little bit. We'll put a Band-Aid on it, be fine." And everybody starts freaking out, and he's just like, you know, surrounded by everybody trying to help him make sure he's okay. And like that in itself, man, is like,
yeah, because
we were best fucking shit, man.
We were in a different room. We were watching everybody dance and like sing
in the room and shit.
And then Paxton's in the other room. That happened. I felt bad. I was bawling my eyes out because I was like, I wasn't here when it happened, and you know, like, it's okay. It's fine because we got them. Like everybody in here got them. So you know, just take a deep breath. I'm freaking out. I'm like,
I'm sure David and Eric were freaking out just because it's like their area and like an injury happened. And I'm like, dude, look, y'all already know that I don't.
He's a boy.
Care. I was like, I'm not gonna fucking sue you for him falling, dude. He ran, he fell, not your fault, his fault. And then like now he still has like a little scar on his chin.
Don't you have one?
And I have one from football, in the exact same spot, dude.
Oh god, it's like it's a Tinder thing.
Well, not even that. So you ever heard of like generational curses and stuff like
that? Yep.
So my dad has a scar on his forehead.
Hell yeah.
From like he stole some money from his grandparents. He was running away, and they were chasing him, and he like turned back, and then when he turned back, he hit a post, busted his front open. Me as a little kid, I was always getting the shit. But same thing, like I have a scar on my forehead.
Yeah.
Literally the same.
Harry Potter.
And I'm just thinking, I'm like, okay.
Harry Potter. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Oh, I get that all the time, man. It's literally, it's not like a Z.
Yeah, dude. It's just like,
it's a line.
It's a slash.
But I tell all the time, I was like, yeah, just. Eventually, I would hate for it to happen, but I'm sure that Jaden one day will come home and he cut himself on the forehead. It just continues
somehow, just randomly. Like the timeline's like, hey, you have to do this.
I'm like,
oh, he's a mini me for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
That's how Paxton is, dude. He all right, I'm gonna have to tell you that kind of thing. So like my chest hair grows in like the Batman symbol, okay?
Like the Batman symbol?
I swear to God,
does.
Legit looks like the Batman symbol.
Take it off.
No. Catch me at the beach, dog. Anyways, but My son has a fucking birthmark right here in the middle of his chest that's like teeny tiny, and it's literally a Batman symbol,
It's
dude.
legit
No
a
way.
Batman
I
symbol.
swear to God, dude. It's the craziest fucking shit ever. It
And then
looks
y'all's
the exact
lymph
same shape.
nodes.
Oh yeah, and then we both have really, really fucking big lymph nodes, which I don't know if it's a big thing, but
He can't deny them
they're
kids
massive.
to save his life.
They're massive.
That's the same thing with Jaden. I can't deny
Nah,
it.
Jaden's like a 2.0 though.
Yeah.
He has
Yeah,
blonde
dude.
hair, blue eyes. But he looks
Yeah,
like
shut
Junior,
up.
so I'm just like, wow.
Acts
Yeah.
like me, talks like me. I mean, it's crazy.
So-
And then
we were
you can't be,
asking-
and then you can't be mad because it's like fuck, like
Mhm.
That's me. That's
Yeah.
part of me.
that's how it is. That's how it is with our daughter too. Like she has both of our attitudes, but she's also like she doesn't take shit from anybody. But I'm
Yeah.
like, hey man, you gotta actually like, you actually have to listen to me, you know, instead of just arguing. You actually have to pay attention.
Brent, I will not turn my accent down.
Oh my gosh. Nobody
Don't
Brent
do
over
it.
here.
Don't do it. Yeah.
All right, y'all. It's been over an hour. It's been great. It hadn't even felt like an hour, honestly.
Aw.
And I was
It's
late.
like-
I'm sorry.
It's literally been
No,
like
you're
kicking
good.
it at the event and just talking while we're waiting on other shit to go on. I really appreciate y'all being on.
Absolutely.
Gonna have to do it again at some point.
Oh yeah.
Y'all going to WFR this month, or y'all gonna be missing out on that one?
We're trying to figure it out. See if we can we got a lot of stuff going on. But we're trying to. If we can, hopefully. We didn't mention it earlier,
When is
but
it?
that's
This month?
it's literally in a month. Like less than
Yeah,
30 days.
There's no way we can make it, man. It's like 20 days away.
Yeah, I would have to tell all my
wanted to.
clients.
Yeah, and then like
Again.
with her cleaning business, like she's had to like tell her clients when we went to Atlanta, like, hey, we can't do your work this week, whatever. And then I had to tell a whole bunch of customers while I was there, like, hey, I'm out of town, missed out on some stuff. Some people scheduled, some people didn't. I mean, it just comes with that, you know what I mean?
I got more people hollering at me last week than I have the past couple weeks, and I'm like, y'all are gonna holler at me while I'm not even in the state.
That's usually how it goes.
Wow.
That's how it
I
goes.
swear.
It's like today I started doing like random shit at the house because I didn't have any appointments, hoping somebody would call. Never happened. You know, like once you start doing things you want to get done, you get a phone call from like 5 people that are like, hey, I need this done right now.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to do it because you don't want them going elsewhere. So you're like, all right,
Right.
I can make it happen, you know?
Yeah, 3 of the people were like, oh, I'm sorry, I already scheduled somebody else. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
It sucks when it happens.
Right. I mean, that's how it goes when you own a small
Yeah.
business, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes the money comes first. Most of the time it doesn't. But, you know, you got to keep the doors open, keep the money coming in.
It was too soon. And it's what, Monday through what? Wednesday or Thursday? I don't
It's
even know.
the 24th through the 27th.
It's a lot easier when if it's like a during the weekend or at least like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday or something.
Right.
Like
So Monday through
Audubon, it
Thursday.
was Monday, Tuesday,
Yeah.
Wednesday. That was during the week. That one was tough, but
My daughter missed school, and I'm like, yeah, she's sick.
That's the other thing.
She's sick.
Yeah, that's the other thing is the kids having to. We were going to take them to WFR if we went. You know, they missed some school here and there. You know, for various reasons, but
Yeah, and I had testing last week.
couldn't take.
She's
them,
like,
so.
please, can I go with y'all?
Yeah,
I'm
we're
like,
like,
nah.
You go you go fill in that Scantron, dude. I had to do it. Like, you have to suffer, you know.
It's,
Do it.
was that the first time you didn't take the kids?
No, we've gone to several things without the kids.
Oh,
we
good.
we luckily have Jessica's mom to usually watch the kids when we're gone, which is great. She'll take them to and from school. They love going over there, stuff like that. But most of the time we try not to take them because it's kind of most of the time it's not super kid friendly, so it's kind of
I
boring.
know, we learned that one.
this
Yeah.
is the first time.
Okay,
it
so
was-
but WFR though, if you go to WFR, they got a fuck ton of kid shit
Yes,
to do, man.
they had
so like
bounce houses last
bounce
year.
houses, axe throwing, kids competitions,
Yeah, no, we didn't.
all
know.
that stuff. But
No,
Um,
I feel like it was good. We like I said, we want them to be a part of it because it sucks when they're not. Like I want them to kind of see
Right.
what we do. But at the same time, I feel like Jaden's still young. Like he's just like, mommy, daddy, or whatever. And I'm just like,
Right.
all right, we're trying to network. We're talking to somebody, or he's gonna throw a tantrum. So I feel like he's still a little young for it, but it was still fun to have him around the environment and kind of see what we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a little bit easier when you don't have them because you just network, you do what you got to do.
Yeah,
Right.
when they're self-sustainable.
Yeah, when
Right.
they can self-sustain themselves, dude, like totally fine. But if they're not, dude,
Yeah.
it's like you got to put them on your shoulder, and you're like, all right, cool, come on,
Yeah,
like,
pretty
get out
much.
of here.
Jarring my hood.
But anyways, Jorge, Brenda, I really appreciate y'all being on the show. We are past the hour mark. It has been fun, and I've really enjoyed talking to y'all, getting to know y'all a little more. Even though I've seen y'all at the events here recently. Gonna have to do it again for sure. Hopefully this one's gonna be on time.
What?
Mom life, like, you can't be mad at it. Mom life. She's taking care of the other shit. So just like how Brenda takes care of the finances, she takes care of the kiddos. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But at the end of every show, I do like to do what I call the dark truth final thought, kind of like Jerry Springer, like just a little monologue of something that you want to give to everybody that's watching, maybe that watches it later. Some advice, some things that you love about the industry, whatever you want to give, just kind of like Jason does too, just a little motivation for the end of the show.
Absolutely. I guess what I would say is if you have a gut feeling or you have something that you're you want to do, take the chance, take it. I had a full-time job, making decent money, and I had the opportunity just to go full send with window tint without the comfortability of a check every week for sure. And I said, screw it. This is whenever, they just moved in, it's more of like that fire under your ass. You have to get it done one way or another. But at the end of the day, it's like that saying, like, the answer is always no unless you ask. Take a chance, man. You'd be surprised what can come out at the end, So if you have anything that you've been thinking you want to do and you're not too sure about it, you're worried about it. I mean, fear is your worst enemy, man. The sky's the limit. So if you have anything you're thinking about doing, just try. The worst you could do is just fail, and at least you gave it your best shot. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, bro. I heard this one phrase from you met Brendan, didn't you? Like the big dude who like is Randy Jr., like the big guy he's from New York. He's very big and he talks like very,
we would have known because we're from New York.
Right.
So I would have known.
Okay, so he said something the other day in a voice message to me. He said, living the dream but chasing the same nightmare. And that shit, I don't know why it reminds me of what you said, but like it's the same thing, right? Like you're living the dream, but you're chasing that same, like, that bad thought of like it's not gonna work in a sense, And I've noticed that with starting my own business and stuff here recently. It's like, when's it gonna be rainbow and sunshine? You know what I mean? Like, but you can't give up, man. Like you said, man. Like you just can't give up. You got to keep going, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I feel like when we started the business, it was great, and then like shit hit the fence, and you're like, damn, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like I always tell her, and we're still going through it, But tell her one day we're gonna look back and be like, damn, remember we had to go through that, or this and that happened, Yeah,
it's all worth it, man.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, it's all worth it. It's not always going to be, rainbows and sunshine. You're going to have your rainy days, man. But I feel like that kind of builds you to who you are, Like, props to you, man, to doing it on your own and getting that the dealer trophy, man.
Oh yeah, you talking about this thing right here?
Exactly. Hell yeah.
This cool little thing.
I'm striving to get one of those, man.
I could not quit smiling. I was like,
look,
this
man,
is the coolest
shit. First off, I want to say thank you because it is crazy, but also did not even fathom that it would happen. And I didn't even understand what it meant until afterwards, because then it was explained, like, it's not just how much you buy or how much you sell. It's what you do. and who you are and like how you contribute to the brand and also to yourself and like to other people in the industry.
Yep.
So to get it with like only being in business for a few months was like completely fucking mind blowing. So I appreciate
It's cool.
it, man. It's really cool, man.
I feel like it's not only that though. Like you've contributed before. Like I mean, we've known you before you went full time. You know, yeah, we knew you before you knew us.
Right.
but yeah, man, I feel like it's.
They were in Orlando in 22, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
She didn't even know.
See?
She said, oh.
I really appreciate it, man. Like I never sought out to like do anything fucking crazy influential. I just do things to have fun and hopefully it helps somebody. Because I mean, at the end of the day,
people, man. At the end of the day, whether you notice it or not, you know, just alone having a podcast, man, doing whatever you do, posting, it could be whatever it is, the simplest stuff. But a lot of people just don't even have the balls to post something. You know, we struggle with that sometimes. Sometimes, like I said, you say, okay, well, this guy posted a nice ass video. How is my video going to compare to that? It's not going to get likes, but screw it. At the end of the day, you still
put yourself out there.
Yep,
exactly. And you've been doing that not for just since November, man. You've been doing that for several months, years. So it's built to where you're at now. So it's well deserved, man. So hats off to you for that. Man.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Well, I appreciate y'all being on. I'm gonna go ahead and turn y'all's camera off. Everybody, thank y'all for watching. Anybody that commented, Brenda, Jorge, I really appreciate y'all being on. We're definitely gonna have to do it again.
and it was
so
good
we'll
talking to y'all for like
always. It was like 20 minutes, 30 minutes almost.
Oh my God, yeah.
She got like a good 30 in here, you know. So y'all got a little longer show than most people just because this one's late, you know. But I appreciate y'all. Thanks again for being on, and I hope y'all have a great night and a great rest of the week and a great year with JR Auto Style Tinting, right?
Yep.
Yes, nailed it. All right, cool. I appreciate y'all, and we will see y'all on the next one.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you. Bye. Take care.
All right, y'all. That was the show. Don't mind her. She's just my wife. But everybody that watched, everybody that's going to watch, appreciate y'all tuning in to the Dark Truth Podcast right here, Facebook and YouTube. We're going to go ahead and close this out with the, what's it called? The outro video.
Shut her down.
And we will see y'all next week. I have a special guest on next week. It is a person that said they would never be on a podcast ever in their life.
Y'all are going to want to
and you're going to have to see this because he made this logo. Love y'all.